Ladies and gentlemen, what up?
You're watching Milk and Honey, where we uncover the amazingly fresh new talent right in your backyard. Hear their story? Watch them shine as we follow them on their journey to the top.
Everywhere I go, yeah, they know who we are.
It's all about getting to that milk and honey, baby.
Hello, and welcome to Milk and Honey, where we show you everyday people doing extraordinary things. Now, let's get to our first guest. Our first guest is Aziz Baby, a film director from Montgomery Village, Maryland. His love for football brought him to ABU in West Virginia. There, he found his passion for film. In 2013, he started an independent film company called Easy Image. For his first big production, he took his talents back home to Montgomery Village, directing a high school football documentary at his old high school, Watkins Mill. Here's a clip for No Fear.
It's no longer the hood. The hood is in the suburbs now because of gentrification. They built these cities up where they used to be crime infested and poverty stricken. They built these places up, and those people that used to live there can no longer live there. So what happens is they have to move. Where do they move to? The suburbs, because the suburbs have this whole law, especially in Montgomery County, that they have to provide HOC, they have to provide Section 8 housing.
Since 1989 to now, I think we've gone to 8% white and 92% minority of some kind.
We're fifth in line for free and reduced. There's 4 other schools that are poorer than we are. In general, for years, there's been a reputation that this is a ghetto school.
We're working on changing the reputation that we have, but it's a bad
This is the thing, Charles, for our kids with the single moms, this and that, they're not used to the word. And I tell them the word discipline. And discipline is not a bad word. It's just a realignment.
And they're not used to a male figure.
A male figure.
Positive male figure.
Positive male figure. There you go, right.
People
Older brothers,
say Watkins Mill is poor, we got high farms rate. You see these stats and you're like, is it really that bad? I'm like, anybody living in Montgomery County or whatever, we're still one of the richest counties in the nation. But when you really get to know some of these kids and get involved with some of their lives, we got some kids that are struggling.
Hey guys, I'm Ava Butler. I'm the athletic trainer here. This is my 3rd year. Especially working with the football kids here, I know a lot of them don't even get the basic 3 meals a day or the nutrition that they're needing. And that was kind of a hard thing for me to kind of step into working here. Like, what do you mean you didn't have breakfast or lunch? Or what do you mean you don't have money for food? Has everyone...
Joining me now is Aziz. So Aziz, what inspired you to create No Fear?
First, I want to say thank you for having me as a guest on the show. I really appreciate it. But No Fear, it was a sequel first because I did the project in Miami, North Miami High School, but I wasn't the director on that project. But seeing the project, how it kind of impacted the community, how it kind of brought light to the football program, to the kids, to the coaches, it's something that I felt like I could do better here with my own support, my resources, and I felt like Watkins Mill was probably the best place to do it because that's where I come from, and it gave me the ability to tell stories that I lived, that my peers lived, that my teammates lived, that the people I still hang out with to this day, they still live that story. So I kind of just wanted to shine light on our community, our area, and stuff like that.
So speaking of area, the documentary hits a lot of big, heavy-hitting topics such as poverty, gentrification. Did you come into the project already aware of these problems, or did they kind of come to light once you started filming?
See, the great thing about documentary is like you never know what you're gonna film. You have an idea going in, but you have a pre-script, but you don't know what the kids are going to say. You don't know what the kids are going to do or how they're going to behave, even, the adults in the film. So no, to answer the question, no, that wasn't a general topic leading in, but once you start doing your pre-script and interviewing and figuring out like this is the actual life that they're living, it's kind of would be ignorant to ignore that fact. So especially because the fact I come from that community, and it's kind of like people from Montgomery Village always say, oh, there's no poverty here, there's no this, that, and the third, but it's like if you're just not paying attention, or it's just not happening to the people that you know, are close with. So using the documentary to kind of just shine light on that was ideal for me.
All right, and so the documentary follows a couple of players from the Watkins Mill High School football team and the head coach. Can you tell us a little bit about those main characters that you highlighted?
So you got the Rush brothers, Demetrius and Anthony Rush. They probably the unsung heroes of the documentary. They come, you know, from a very gruesome background as far as, you know, dealing with like homeless stuff, like no food, and a lot of issues that you wouldn't even imagine a 13-year-old, 14-year-old kid going through, and then wake up the next day and go to school and act like everything's okay. But they always kind of help their teammates, and you would never tell that they have issues. So they're kind of the unsung heroes for that. You got Markel Grant, 6'5", 260-pound quarterback. Division I prospect. You see with him kind of deal with leadership issues. He's kind of the white knight who falls off the horse. So that's kind of cool to see that unfold because I feel like a lot of kids can learn from that. You got Anthony Penn. He deals with, you know, little street issues, and he's not a top athlete on the team. He wasn't somebody where you say, okay, we're going to focus on all the best players. He wasn't the best player, but he was the most relatable player. And then Mike Brown, obviously, is the head coach, father figure, mentor, family man. He's in school. So you just kind of see the trials and tribulations of leading a program and keeping his family together at the same time. So it's cool to watch it all unfold and how it all intertwines with each other.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. And so all of these players, including the coach, these are Black men growing up in this time frame of being afraid to kind of show their emotions, open up. You have scenes, like heartfelt scenes, where these teenagers are breaking down right in front of the camera. Like, how did you capture those moments?
So before I brought any camera or anything like that, microphone or anything, like I just walked around with a clipboard. And with that clipboard, I'll just take notes. I'll talk with the players. Me going to that school, knowing that I was once them, kind of helped. I'm not gonna lie, but I developed a relationship and a trust with them that almost became unbreakable before I started filming. So when I started filming, and that's very important because when I started filming, sometimes you would get that moment where they're like, well, I'm not trying to speak upon this because the camera's here and I'm shy, but you give that little hint, you know, that it's me. Like, you can trust me, you can trust where we're going with this, you can trust the project. And they will kind of just open up. A lot of stuff that I was relating to, so we would bounce off stories, obviously not in the film, but in between us talking, you know, I would cut the camera and we'd speak for about an hour before we'd start rolling again. And that he just, you know, he would cry, I'd cry, we'd wipe each other's tears, and then boom, let's get it going again. And then that kind of, so what you see in the film is like the back end of how emotional it got, you know, so it was a long process, but I think just being genuine with the kids and with the program and what you're trying to do, as long as your head's in the right spot, things are just gonna work out for you. So that's kind of how it worked out as far as them being, you know, so open.
So being in your own company, being a film director, resources can be very tight.
Right.
How did you make this happen?
Well, it was fully independently funded by me and my team. It's just the grind as far as, you know, seeing if anybody wants to, you know, back you up as far as like NCPS and the school, the teachers in the school, you know, the football coaches and stuff like that. And then just, you know, off the strength of the business, you know, easy image. So we just take a lot of gigs and then fund it into a project that we really want to highlight for people to focus on. So that's really what it was.
All right, so what's in works for you? Like, what's the future holds? What can we expect next?
Next, I'm thinking I want to do another documentary. But I think I'm going to kind of lean back towards like the urban fashion lane as far as doing a lot of music videos, doing photo shoots and stuff like that. I feel like doing the film kind of projected me as a film director in a different lane. So I want to capitalize off that.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Aziz. I really appreciate it. This was a great film. I think everybody should go out and try to watch it. Again, like you said, them tears were real. The emotions and the raw emotions, it's so real. And we appreciate you highlighting the issues in a Montgomery County area like this.
Right. Well, I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next guest is Afrobeat artist from Silver Spring, Maryland. Jay Otto started making music in 2010, but took a 4-year break in 2015 to go back to college. Now in 2020, he's starting off the year strong with a brand new partnership with BET Networks. His new music video, Only One, is blowing up on YouTube with over 200,000 views in less than 2 weeks. The music video has a special meaning, being shot at his old high school, John F. Kennedy in Silver Spring, where his music career all began. Here's a clip of Only One.
I perform better under pressure. Ooh. Vibes are on elevated measures. Ooh. In my line, you from the one that's next up. Ooh. Know you're tired of all these dudes trying to vex you. Girl, come talk to me. What you going through, it ain't hard to see. You've been going through a lot, obviously. Let me come sweep you right off your feet. Yeah.
All right, so first of all, I have to ask, how does it feel to get such a massive response from your song?
Feels amazing. I feel like when you work hard and you have like quality stuff, I feel like people are gonna grasp to it in a sense. So it's a blessing for sure. But I feel as though, I feel like I said, if quality work is gonna spread and people are just gonna, talk about it.
All right, and so you've actually got the attention from some pretty big media platforms. Can you talk about that experience and what that's been like?
Oh, that's amazing because, ever since I was a kid, I watched stuff like 106 and Park and things like that. So just to see yourself as a kid watching those type of videos and then now becoming a family with, like BET and people like that is really amazing. So I don't take it for granted. I'm thankful for it because we have so much in store that we're actually about to do. So I'm excited.
So you were telling me before you actually got to meet somebody pretty big the time that you went to BET.
Oh, yeah.
So explain that. So now you're like hand in hand with famous people now, huh?
It was quick. It was a quick engagement, but I actually got to meet Tyler Perry in there. He was on the elevator at the same time I was going up. So I got to talk to him, say hello, and then I kind of like sneaked in a little, you need Afro beats in your songs, but he kind of laughed it off. But I was actually very serious. So one day he'll know who I am, one day.
Okay, and then talking about Afro beats, that's kind of like a new thing the American music scene is like getting hip to, even though it's been around for a long period of time. Can you kind of explain that sound, that type of music to people who may be not familiar?
So Afrobeats is kind of like a positive party vibe in a sense. It's kind of like a get the party started type of thing. Like everyone that makes Afrobeats, you got to have high energy with Afrobeats. It's like a high tempo type of beat. So that's basically really what it is, and it's kind of like a cultured sound from Africa. So that's actually making its waves around to everywhere else around the world. So.
And how does it feel to have a part of your culture being accepted now and your other part of your culture being American, like it blending together?
It feels good because I feel like I have the best of both worlds because I was born and raised in America, but I've been to Ghana in West Africa like 3 times. So I kind of got to learn the best of both worlds and like put it inside my music. So as I got older, I realized, hey, I can do both. I can do R&B and I can do Afrobeats. So it feels good.
Do you have a favorite? Which one do you like better?
That's a trick question. So my favorite, I got to go R&B because R&B is where it started. I feel like the roots of just making the slow music and R&B type music, you have to make sense. You can't make an R&B song and then have whatever lyrics on it. So you have to make sense, and it makes you work hard in R&B lyrical-wise and writing-wise. So I like R&B.
Okay, I'm glad I got you to answer that question.
It's a trick question.
So, so your latest music video was shot at your old high school where you graduated, Kennedy. Kind of explain that experience and being able to go back home to shoot that video.
So the reason why I actually shot it at Kennedy because that's where I started making music. Like my senior year of high school, I kind of like hopped on the scene and was like, hey, I make music. Nobody really knew because I was a comedian type of guy. I'm a class clown. So when I did a talent show my senior year, after that it got such a massive response. I was like, I might try this after high school, you know. So when I tried it, started doing well, and then I just kept pushing ever since.
So can you explain your journey? You graduated in 2010 at Kennedy. Now 2020, 10 years later, you're now getting a lot of buzz from your music. So can you kind of explain that journey from where you started to now?
It was a long journey because I feel as though when I first started making music in 2010, I really didn't know much. I thought I knew, you know, more than just what I thought I knew, of course, but it's so much more to it on the business aspect and that I learned over the years. You know, I actually took a break on music in 2015. I didn't make a song for 4 years. So 2019 was my first song in 4 years because I was going through so much in the music standpoint, you know, fake managers, you know, deals going wrong. So it was so much I had to sit and realize, you know, build my craft and understand that just chill a little bit and then come back. And I came back and it's been a massive, massive feedback all over, basically.
So what do you think has been the key to your success?
I think being true to who you are, honestly. People know when you're like you're a fraud in a sense. You know, I feel like people understand, you know, positive energy, regular energy, you know, being yourself. People pick up on that, you know, even if they don't know you or not. So I feel like me always being myself, never changed for anything, you know, just being myself picked up with, you know, friends, family, and, well, not family, but friends and people that just enjoy the music, you know.
All right, so tell us about kind of your team, because doing projects like this, doing music videos and being able to travel and stuff, like how has your team helped you through this?
Oh, they do it all. They do it all. They're not no yes men too. Like they do it all. So if I have an idea they don't like, they tell me like this is not it. So I feel like my team helps me so much because I have like I was telling them earlier, I have creative directors. I got people that like, you know, push the music. I have like legit a big team. I just don't have a manager yet. That's it. Everything else but a manager.
I think that's coming for you. That has to come. The amount of success and attention you're getting, somebody's going to be knocking at your door
There's been some options, but I mean, I just want to make sure it makes sense, you know, for both sides. So definitely still, you know, figure out who's going to be the best fit for J. Otto, the brand, you know.
All right. So what advice could you give somebody trying to pursue music like you?
Keep going. I feel like people are going to talk regardless. People are going to say what they want to say regardless. You know, just keep going. Don't stop. You know, only way you can fail is by not trying. You know, that's just how I feel like that's the only way you're going to fail. So just keep going. Keep doing you. You know, understand that it's a process. It's not overnight success. Understand you got to put in the groundwork to get those results. So just keep going.
All right. So 2020, just kicking off, just starting. You're already doing huge things. So what can your fans expect for the rest of the year? What do we have working?
An album. I'm excited. I'm actually working on my album right now, so I'm excited. You know, we have a lot of good songs that we're going through right now. So an album, we're actually working on a concert right now for the summer. So album, concert, and probably a few more music videos. So for sure, I'm going to keep working hard.
Okay, so looking back to when you started and now, did you think that was going to be your future? Like, did you already know I'm going to be successful because I have this great sound?
No. And that's just real, because I feel like when I first came out in 2011, I didn't know much. I just thought, you know, just get in the studio and make whatever. So I really didn't take it as serious probably until like 2014 in a sense. So I feel like when I actually started understanding music, taking my time, building the craft, getting a vocal coach, doing those things, that's when the results came, because, you know, that's when people started taking me more serious in a sense. So.
All right, so you got to put in that hard work if you want the success.
You got to. Ain't nothing's going to be handed to you.
So does it ever stop? Does the hard work ever stop?
Yeah, it stops when I'm on vacation. But other than that, no, I keep going. You know, I feel like, you know, it's so much motivation. There's so many things through heartbreak and good times that you can put in a pen. So I just write wherever. Like, I can be writing, sitting down right now. I can just write and just make a song from there.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. I
problem.
really appreciate it and wish you luck with everything.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our last guest is Hunni, an aspiring shoe designer from Silver Spring, Maryland. Now a college senior at UMBC, she's looking to soon make her mark in the sneaker industry. She was recently selected out of thousands to create a sneaker with Nike as part of their Nike by You campaign. Her Air Max 95, co-created titled Where's the Cure, has sold over 80 pairs and counting. A self-proclaimed sneakerhead, she hopes to inspire other girls and change the sneaker culture that girls too can rock J's. Let's listen to some of her podcast.
So since we were just talking about shoe boxes, this is one of my favorite shoe boxes. These are the Jordan UNC ones. And the reason why I like this box is because a lot of people, when they see this shoe, they actually want to feel the shoe, they want to look at the details. But you actually don't have to. You can just flip this little flap up and see the shoe itself. This shoe is really unique and different from any type of Jordan 1. The details on this shoe are actually fantastic. Virgil did a really good design with these shoes. It's very different. These are probably my favorite shoe that I own, and I probably won't change that unless I do get the original 10 Jordan 1 from his first drop, the Chicago ones.
All right, so when did your love for sneakers begin?
Back in middle school, I would say. I was never the type to be I was never the type to like heels and sandals. My mom always tried to make me go into that, but I would say back in middle school is when I fell in love with sneakers.
And so, like, was there like a breaking point where your mother was trying to put you in some dress shoes and you're just like, no? Or like, what was the point where you're like, okay, sneakers is it, like, I can't do these other shoes?
When I learned that I can make money from buying sneakers is when I decided, like, this is it. This is what I'm gonna do.
Pretty smart. So your podcast, Laced Up, can you tell us a little bit about it?
So I originally started on SoundCloud. I actually took a podcasting class back in a couple semesters ago, actually. And I started to enjoy it. I talked to my professor. She was like, yeah, you should go ahead and try it out. So I started on SoundCloud. I realized on SoundCloud that it's hard to show my viewers the product that I'm talking about if they can't vision it. So that's why I decided to transition into YouTube. So I did a couple of videos on YouTube, and now I haven't produced anything else. I've been caught up in my school and work, so I decided to actually change my name from Laced Up Podcast to Laced Up Sneaker News, in which I still drop content on my page, but it's more just visionary content about the sneaker, what's coming out, instead of just me talking on camera.
And so you have a pretty good social media following. Like, how do you get people to follow you, especially with so many different social media people out there, personality? Like, how do you get your following?
My following came natural by just promoting myself. I told myself back in 2019, earlier last year, that the best way to get yourself out there is promote yourself. Like, no one's gonna promote yourself better than you will. So, but since then, it just escalated.
All right, and so this is pretty amazing. As you can see, the shoes right here that you helped create with Nike. Can you tell us about that experience of creating the shoes?
So it was very shocking when I got the email. It said in the email that I was picked out of thousands of people. It was about maybe 30 of us that were picked across the United States. Nike does this program in which you're able to apply, and I applied actually the last day, and I was like, they'll probably not pick me, it's the last day. And then maybe about a month and a half went by. I'm just like, okay, still haven't heard anything. And then I was at work, and all of a sudden I got an email. I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom, checked the email, sent it to my group chat, and I was just stunned since.
All right, and so how the process worked, you were given different colors to work with, like, so how did that actually happen?
So they gave us 4 different shoes to pick from. My favorite ones were the Air Max 95s. They gave us very limited colors per sneaker selection. So from there, I had colors like green, blue, gray, pink, and red. So it was also to create a theme. So I was also thinking in my back of my head, what can I do to promote my sneakers, to sell my sneakers that also gives a theme that someone would want to buy it for? So I decided to do breast cancer awareness.
All right, and so that actually is a closer, deeper meaning for you with at home. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about the connection with why you chose breast cancer?
Yeah, so my mom actually has leukemia cancer. I would have done the color orange, but unfortunately they never gave me the color. So I just thought, like, if your family and friends have never been affected by cancer, then you don't really take it as serious as somebody who has. So showing that you're able to do anything, like especially making the sneaker, had brought like a lot of like joy to my mom, seeing that I was able to do this.
All right, and so can you tell us a little bit more about learning that diagnosis and like coping as a family of getting through something so hard like that?
So it was probably back maybe my 8th grade year when I found out my mom had leukemia. It was actually a really tough time on my family. I felt as if, since I'm the oldest sister, I have a younger sister, and I just felt as if I had to be the one who had to like take in charge and take care of my sister other than my mom, because my mom is pretty sick. So like seeing her struggle has been like really hard on us. And I mean, going through day by day, like she has her bad days, she has her good days. So just try to bring any joys possible to her. It makes me feel good inside.
So how has this experience have shaped you as a person, having to step up at such a young age to kind of be the mature person in the situation and be that leader, role model for your younger sister? How has that made you who you are today?
So it made me not take things in life for granted, especially just knowing the things that can happen from cancer and how you can lose different people. I just cherish my moments in my life and cherish the people in my life, like, because you never know when the next time you'll see somebody and things like that. So that's how I am today.
All right. And then so what is your overall message to little girls who may be skeptical or afraid, who might not want to wear those sneakers with a dress, or are told sneakers are for boys, you're not supposed to do this kind of stuff?
I would tell them you can do anything you want, anything you set your mind to. The sky's the limit. Don't let anything stop you from being who you want to be and what you want to do in life.
I was like, I have to ask, how many sneakers do you actually own? Because I've seen some of the pictures and I'm just like, your closet must be full to the rim.
I probably own over 100 pair of sneakers. Since middle school, I've been collecting, reselling, just, I would say like about 100.
That is a lot of shoes. Do you get to wear all of them? Are they kind of look cute and look good in the closet type of thing? Or do you actually wear all these shoes? Because you only have 2 feet.
I wear them. Some of them I don't wear as much as others, just because of, like, especially my sneakers now, like they have like the icy bottom. So like if you wear them a lot, then it starts to turn yellow. So some sneakers like that I tend just to keep in my closet just for like my memories and just to cherish them, and when I grow up and see if I would be able to resell them for even more than I bought them for.
So I didn't know that thing about the bottoms and everything. Clearly, I'm not into sneakers like that, so I'm learning something new right now. So I need to come to you to keep my sneakers nice, fresh, and clean, because you clearly are the expert. So what are your plans? You're a senior, you're going to be graduating soon. What are your future plans?
So I would love to work as a designer for Nike. Right now I go to school for media and communications. If I'm not able to be a designer, I would also like to work for social media marketing, social media branding, for even larger companies like Universal Studios, Warner Brothers, Viacom, anything like that.
Okay, so a lot of big things are in the works for you. We are so excited. We're going to watch you in this journey, and we wish you all the success. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
I want to thank all the guests for coming out today and sharing their stories. Really appreciate them. Now, if you think you have what it takes to be featured on Milk and Honey, all you have to do is email a bio to milkandhoney, that's honey spelled HUNNI, show @gmail.com. I'm your host, Carmen Frazier. Thank you for watching and hope to see you next time.